Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this episode I will be deploying two servers. The first server will be an admin server that will be used to manage the network. The second server I build will be promoted as a secondary domain controller. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you liked the video, please remember to hit the like button. Alright, so now we're going to kick off a new VM. I want to say new virtual machine. And the virtual machine is going to be HQADMIN. This is going to be an admin tool server. And I'm going to put that on our host. Select our data store. And we're going to select customize the operating system and power on after creation. I'm going to select the template. Computer name is going to be HQADMIN and finish. And I will be back once this has completed. Alright, that didn't take as long as I thought it would. So let's go ahead and open up our console. And we'll just keep an eye on it. So it should automatically reboot and begin the rebuild process. Okay, so it appears that the system has rebooted due to the customization script. Okay, so it appears we have success with this system joining the domain. Alright, so okay, so now that the server has joined, we can see them both here. We can see the new server's been joined to our computers AU. So I'm going to create a OU for the admin server and drop in the HQ VCA vCenter server into the Linux OU. And then I'm going to run GP update force. And I'm going to open up a command prompt as an administrator. so that I can run GPRESULT-R. Alright, so we're going to run this. Alright, so just want to make sure that the system has correctly applied the policies. It looks like it did. So I'm going to restart the server. Okay, so it definitely looks like we're missing some applications. So let's go add Alright, let's jump back over to Monitor tab. So since we have this, we're going to negate and see. Okay, so as of right now, it's the only app that's showing up as denied. So commit these changes. Alright, let's go ahead and log in. Alright, so now that the rule has been applied, it looks like the updates to the network are a little faster. Alright, so I'm gonna add a role. I'm sorry, not a role. I'm gonna add some features. All of the remote server administration tools. Click next. And next, and install. And I will speed up the footage during this process. Alright, so what I'm going to do is log into HQVCA, log into our vCenter server. Grab the password. Actually, this should be LDAP enabled now. And it appears to be working. We're going to acknowledge our storage problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the admin server, I'm going to move this to a separate network. So I think the best network for this tool server, this management server to run on is going to be the security network. So that's where I'm going to put it. And that has been configured. So now I'm going to go in. Probably should have logged in before changing the network. Let me see if it'll let me in. I'm going to change it back for a second. Alright, so I'm going to change adapter settings. Alright, so I'm going to put this on 10.0.41.10 and the default gateway is 10.0.41.1. The preferred DNS server and alternative DNS server can stay. Okay, close that. And now I will switch the network over to SEC. So what I'm going to do is check the firewall and verify the rules that have been created. So what I'm going to do at this point is create a clone rule. Actually, cancel. I'm going to change this. So below the Active Directory rule, I'm going to create a rule that's from the HQADMIN server to SECNET, and for this one I'm going to call it RDP, and this is going to be interzone, and our source is going to be SECNET sec, and we're going to select, actually we're going to add hqadmin.secnetwork.org 10.0.41.10. Our source zones are going to be domain, the AAA network, DMZ network, the management network, the security network. Actually, I'm going to not add the security network. The server network, the user network, and that is it. And of course, this SECNET headquarters network address subnet. For the application, I'm going to add RDP. I'm going to leave the application defaults, and I'm going to leave the defaults. So I'm going to clone this rule. And I'm going to change RDP to web. And then I'm going to change the application to SSL and web browsing. I'm going to turn off application defaults because some administrator sites run on non-standard ports. And I'm going to drop that rule down. So it'll be web RDP. And the next rule I create will be SSH. We'll leave all that, change this to SSH. And this will stay application defaults. So as I develop the different ports, what I'll do is I'll add them in manually, but for now I'll just leave it open. I'm going to commit this, and I will be back once the commit is complete. Actually, there's one more thing I need to do, so I'm going to cancel this. And I'm going to create a temporary rule. And just make sure. Alright. Yep, so let's close this. Alright, so I'm going to create a temporary rule real quick. So, actually now I believe these rules can go. So these rules were temporarily put in place so that the laptop can manage the different services we've built so far, but this is no longer necessary. So I'm going to disable for now, but I'm going to create a new rule below these, which is also going to be a temp rule for management laptop to HQADMIN. This is going to be an interzone, and we're going to go from a management to 10.0.11.10, our admin server, which is in sec. HQADMIN, and we're going to allow RDP. And leave the defaults and commit that. Okay, now we will be back as soon as this commit has been completed. Okay, so now I'm going to create a rule that I'm put up here. So a rule I really didn't want to create. It's a rule that I have to create. I'm going to call it Windows activation. And this is going to be an interzone rule. And we'll add all networks that require Windows activation. So that'll be AAA or DMZ. It should not include management, but it will include security, the server network, and the user network. And this will be from SECNET HQ. And the zone, the destination will be WAN. And the application will be, let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Let's try MS Act. Maybe it's Windows activation. Alright, well this is interesting. Looks like they took it out of this versional. So let's see. Let's check product activation. Damn it. So close. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so next I'm going to create a rule for Microsoft product activation. This is going to be an interzone rule. Source will be all networks that will contain Microsoft products that require activation. So that will be AAA. The DMZ should not contain management, but it will contain security. The server network and the user network. These will all come from SECNET HQ network and are destined to the WAN and are, I believe, MS product activation. I'll leave the defaults and allow. Okay, so next I'm going to jump over to NAT and create a rule that allows those networks out. So I'll call this SECNET default NAT. And the source zones will be the same networks. We'll do AAA, DMZ. I'm actually going to add in the management so I can delete this top role. So AAA, DMZ, management, security. Server, user, and VoIP. Destination zone will be, of course, the WAN. Destination interface will be Ethernet 108. We'll allow any service. Source address will, of course, be part of the SECNET HQ network. To any destination, and we will translate interface Ether 18 over the net IP address. Click OK. And I'm going to move this rule down and disable. This rule can actually also be disabled, and eventually I'll clean these up. And this will be the main rule. So I'm going to commit. And I will be back as soon as this completes. Okay, so now that that's been committed, I'm going to jump into the admin server. And we're going to log in with SECNET, our username. I'm going to select yes and click OK. Close that. Okay, so now that I'm here, let's take a look and see if we are able to activate this system. So if we go to this PC and we go to properties, so I'm going to click Activate Windows, and then I'm going to go drum, and try and change in the product key, and go grab it real quick. And then click Next, and then Activate. Alright, so it looks like, let's take a look at our monitor. And I'm going to look for SEC, and it's going to WAN, click. So it is looking for OCSP, and of course now Windows updates, and SSL. So it looked like it tried to go out, but for some reason it didn't work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add in computer and internet information, and then for here I'm going to add in SSL and web browsing. Alright, so the commit is complete. So let me go ahead and refresh this. And it looks like we have some traffic going out. And go ahead and attempt another activation. Okay, so that seemed to work. The server is now activated. So I'm going to log into the domain controller. And I'm going to activate the domain controller. Alright, so we're going to say power failure. Alright, so this PC. And I'm going to click activate. Change product key, and I'm going to paste in the product key and click activate. And we are good to go. So I'm going to log out. Alright, so we were able to get the server built and the domain controller promo tools installed. First thing I'm going to do is add in an address for hqpdc2.secnetwork.org 10.0.31.12. And then I'm going to jump down to address groups and add PDC12. I'm sorry, PDC2. And then I'm going to commit and what that should do is auto apply to this rule. Alright, so with that said, since that's committing, I can jump back over here and kick off the promotion. So I'm going to add a domain controller to an existing domain. I'm going to use my current logged in account. So I actually need to switch over to RDP. And this way I can copy the password from the password database into that field. Let me just grab that password real quick. Alright, so I have that password generated. So I'm going to paste it in. That's fine. We'll click next. We'll choose any domain controller and click next. And we'll pause here. Because I have to Alright, so we're good on that. Alright, so we're going to add in a 10 gig drive, and this drive will be used for the domain database. So we're going to add a new hard drive. We're going to limit this to 10 gigs. And I'm going to leave this SIG provisioned. And click OK. And we're good. So I'm going to minimize this, go back into remote desktop, and then go into disk management. I'm going to bring the disk online, and I'm going to initialize the disk, and then I'm going to create a new simple volume with the full space on drive E, delete the volume label and finish. And then I'm going to close this, and as we did on the first domain controller, we promote it, switch all these paths over to E. For the E drive, click next, next, and install. So during the installation process, I will speed up the footage, and I will be back as soon as the server comes back up from its reboot. Alright, so it appears the domain controller is up. I'm just going to take a quick look at the DNS server. Alright, let's take a quick look. Alright, it looks like it appears as a name server, so that's good. And let's check the reverse. And again, it shows up as a name server, so I'm good. I'm okay with that. Let's jump into users and computers. And it looks like everything is good here, and it's in the right OU, of course. So let's take a look. Actually, let's run that as an administrator, and let's run GPRESULT. And mostly, I just want to make sure that the correct time policy has been applied. In the first domain controller promotion, when we looked at the group policy objects, the PDC NTP policy was applied, but in this, it's the BDC policy. So we are getting the right group policy, so that's good. Alright, so now I want to say I am good with the server, and this is actually there's one more thing I want to do, and that is activate the server, and then I think I'm done with this. So let's go grab our product key. And we have successfully activated our new second domain controller. So I'm going to sign out of this, and we are good on that. So from here we should see both domain controllers, and we do. So I'm going to close out of that. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe. And if you like this video, please remember to hit that like button.